Welcome to Futro Hidden Movie Gems. My name is Jordan Christensen, your host. Sell, effing sell. And I've got my co-host, Nick.
Rule number 6, there are no rules. You passed.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I know you were not thrilled to watch
this movie sucked. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I was watching. And at first, guys, if you're listening out there, if anybody's listening to this, I'm going to save you an hour and 15 minutes of your life. Actually, I'm going to do you more of a favor. It was a
tight hour and 15 minutes. It's short.
It was. I don't know about tight. I skipped through probably 30 minutes of the movie, probably 40. And it still felt too long. There's just the parts I'm like, what is going on here?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. I knew it, too. I started watching it, I'm like, Jordan's effing with me.
No, I have not. Okay, check it out. So, first time I saw this, I rented it from a video store in Texas. I love video, and it's still around, surprisingly, even after everything. And I rented it, maybe even on VHS. So I went through all of Danny Boyle's films, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they have one of his older films. And I was so excited. So, because I've been trying to get my hands on all of his films, and this is one of his earliest films. So Danny Boyle's done movies like Trainspotting, Sunshine. I don't know if you're recognizing any of these movies. Oh, and a movie, and I knew you probably wouldn't like this movie because it's made by the same guy that did 28 Days Later. Not weeks, days. And so he used a lot of digital when digital was had just become a thing. And so the quality, I apologize, and I know that's probably one of the biggest knocks on it, is not great. But that's because he was using early stages of digital. But his camera work is so good though. All his creative fun shots. I'm so excited to talk about this film. So, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts because yes, I checked everything. I've checked Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb. It has some pretty bad reviews. Even Amazon Prime has it at 2 stars. Danny Boyle is in my top 10 favorite directors. This is one of his earliest films. Amazing movie. I mean, for me, I can see why not a lot of people like this movie. And I don't think a lot of people are going to like this movie. And I think they'll be pretty upset when they watch it and then be like, why on earth did you talk about this movie?
They're not going to watch it because I'm telling them right now not to watch it. Don't watch it. It's going to mess you up for a long time. So let me just get into the only one thing you could say that I liked about this movie is that it was in a very, very, very small and light sense relatable to me in a way because I did sell vacuums at one point in time.
What? I didn't know that.
Not those crappy vacuums. I sold ones that were, they were still overpriced, but they were super nice vacuums, plus air purifiers and stuff. But the whole thing. And there was people that I knew that were different aspects of that guy. And,
yes.
I just remember the one scene in the movie when he's at the table with that one woman. She just keeps talking. It's like his first sale.
Yes.
And he's sitting there plugging the thing in and she's like, okay, I'll take it. I'm like, that reminds me of a sale I had one time because I literally just got in there. It was a very poor woman. And I mean, she probably wasn't, she was pretty poor, but she really wanted the vacuum and I didn't even have to get into a spiel. So I'm sitting there standing there and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. She's like, I'll take it. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm sitting out there, about to fill out the contract. And then of course my boss, because this is when I first started, he comes in and almost blows the sale because he just started talking all just weird. And he was just, I don't know, just a different type of person. I'm like, I don't know why this guy's training me. He just needs to leave. And that's it. That's all I liked about this movie is that I could relate to one scene and a concept.
The guy that's training him, he embodies everything that's wrong with salesmen, which is so perfect.
He is everything that's wrong.
It's so good. He is such a deplorable human being. And then you can see it in that the new kid that's being trained. When they sell to that lady and she's crying because, she's clearly, not good with her money and she's poor and has 4 kids and she's single. And this disgusting sleazy salesman comes in and takes advantage of her. And you can just see it in his face. And that smile. Oh, that fake smile. That is the same actor from Harry Potter. He's Peter Pettigrew. He's Ron's rat. And so he just plays kind of a similar sleazy. He just plays a great sleazy character. There's a lot of moments in this movie that I love. Like when... Okay, you gotta admit, there was at least a few parts that made you laugh. Like when he
There was a couple parts that made me chuckle a little bit.
Okay. Like when he wakes up and his girlfriend's gone and he's wearing those cat ears and he's running around the house.
No, that terrified me.
That was...
I'm like, this is just another example of why this movie is so terrible. I couldn't. The whole thing. I think the one part I kind of laughed at is when the sleazy salesman, I don't know what he was doing, but he got out of the car and he was walking into somewhere and he turned around with this smile that he did. He did this like goof smile, like... And I was like, okay, that was low. And he just did this little move and then he just like goes in the building. That part made me smile a little bit, but the rest of it was just horrifying. All the, what you could call intimate scenes were just horrifying. Just absolutely horrifying. I had to skip through them. I couldn't watch them. Like, I know it's coming. I don't want to see this at all.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Jordan, you have a very... I thought you were screwing me. Everybody out listening, I thought he was screwing with me. I didn't actually think he liked this movie. I thought he was like, I'm going to play a movie Nick's going to hate so much as like revenge for something that I must have done, but...
No, I seriously, as I was watching it, I had the biggest smile on my face, and I was really worried because I'm like, oh no. I remember loving it the first time because I am very biased. I love Danny Boyle so much. I love all his work. And so I'm like, I was nervous rewatching it, but I loved it. And I was like, Nick's gonna like some of this stuff. Like, it just seems like a lot of the stuff like we laugh about in high school and stuff. I just like certain characters, and this man embodies a character. I think he is so good at just like, for example, when you first get to his apartment, you see like all his shirts just hanging around, and he goes there just to switch. And the fact that he's like a road rager, and it just totally reminds me of you on the road, and he's just like has the closest calls, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's gonna kill somebody. This man is a maniac. And I don't know, there's a lot of like really uncomfortable, disturbing scenes. Like there's a lot of really tight shots that I'm sure a lot of people would consider obnoxious and like disturbing and make you feel squeamish and gross, and a lot of unattractive.
Because everybody in the show was so gross.
Yes, and because, yeah, they were just, like, sleazy.
It's just close-up of grossness.
Yeah, exactly. And I just love the idea of, like, life and what they're doing with their lives. And because it's so interesting, like, the opening shot is the guy, and they're like, he's dead. And it's just like, he spent his entire life, you know, for what? And I love that because Danny Boyle spends a lot of time on the exploration of how people spend their lives. And so this idea... And I love, there's another beautiful moment when the lady had just died and she's a hoarder, and you just see all these stacks of newspapers everywhere. And I've been in somebody's house like that. It's just crazy that people do that kind of stuff. They have like a whole television show based off that. People that just can't get rid of things. And they go inside her apartment, and she's laying there dead. And the guy goes on this long monologue as he's telling him about his dream. And I love that moment because he's like, I'm on a beach with my vacuum, and I'm and it's just like this really interesting moment, like people's dreams and aspirations. And this is my kind of film. It's disturbing, interesting, and all those camera shots, they're constantly moving and in interesting places.
So there you have it, folks. You're either a Jordan or you're a me. Okay? There's no middle ground in this movie. You either are going to love it for whatever reason, or you're going to absolutely hate it for all the right reasons.
But you can't say that you didn't like any...
I laughed. No, I was saying, okay, you know, it's almost, I don't know. Like in the beginning, I was like, this is terrible. And I think like there were certain parts because, again, it was slightly relatable in the fact that selling vacuums and all that goodness and being a sales rep that had to like travel around and like live out of his car basically most of the day, and the people that I ran into, you know, so that was interesting. And again, you're right, that sales guy is everything that's wrong with being a salesperson. I have worked with people that have fit not all of those aspects. I've never been with someone that obnoxious and crazy.
Yeah.
But different aspects of them were the worst things. He's just like all the worst people put into one. I've seen all those people individually, you know, that are obnoxious and are just those types of sales reps.
Yes, like totally screwing over the people that they come and visit, and they will do he literally even says that. He's like, anything for a sale. And I love when he's like reaches in and he's like, nothing like a good breakfast, and he's like, he just had some like rum, and then he reaches in a box.
And I'm telling you, that's another thing. I knew someone that would take a shot before they would go sell. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? He's like, man, this is what I gotta do. He's like, I'll be good in there. So he would literally take a shot or two, and then he'd swish some Listerine in his mouth so he wouldn't smell like, you know, rum. And then he would walk up in there. I'm like, oh no, I can't do this. This is terrible.
It's crazy. And just, there's so many parts. Like the fact that he puts in, he's like, hey, can we listen to my cassette tape? He's like, nah, we're going to listen to motivational speech.
It's just him. Okay,
and it's just his...
also kind of funny.
It's just his own voice. Sale, epic sale. And it's just that over and over and over again.
So if anybody does look up this movie before you decide to make the dumb choice to watch it, and you see that it has a 6.7 or whatever on IMDb, don't let that fool you.
Well, because there were so few reviews, if you look.
So few reviews. So
and the only people that reviewed it
watching
were
it
people that love Danny Boyle, yeah.
Are people like you. Or people that get sucked into it like me. So 33% of those votes were people that got sucked into it.
Or suckered in.
Yeah.
I thought you would enjoy it at least. Like, it's just a fascinating character study. How he is the most interesting person. Like, I just find what he's done with his entire life is he's essentially given it, and he's essentially almost, I don't want to say sell his soul, but he did for money. Like, he's given up everything, like his time chasing a dream that doesn't really, it gives him nothing in return. So I just think it's so interesting that somebody is willing to be so gross and sleazy for what? I just think it's such a fascinating character study and idea.
There are people that are really gross and sleazy like that.
I know, but like, and to get so little out of it, it's like, it feels like if you're gonna go bad, go all the way. And I don't know, it's just crazy that he's done just that. But I feel like he isn't even getting a whole lot out of it. Like
what else is he gonna do?
I don't know. Good question, Nick.
Yeah, look at him. If you guys watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. You're right. The only job that he could do would be a vacuum salesman for a cheap 50-pound vacuum. Not 50 pound as in 50 pounds. 50 pounds. I think that's what he was selling it to the first people for, because it's a UK movie. Or British or whatever.
Yeah. When he's like at the end walking towards the sea and he has a heart attack, like it's just kind of poetic justice.
Well, he said, die or sell, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he kept saying it.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't win, so he was like, he was telling him he was going to say kill himself if he didn't win. He didn't have to kill himself. He just died.
That's right. I thought he was going to go like swim in the ocean.
I thought so too. I thought he was just going to walk in there and just never come out. I'm like, okay. And yeah. I knew he was going to lose by one sale too. I'm like, I knew that. That's why I could skip that whole story part where they're in the car. I'm like, there's a lot that I could skip here, especially the scenes. Guys, skip that. Once you see that might start to happen, just fast forward. If you do, for whatever reason, like I said, watch this, just skip through all of that. It's so bad. So bad. You can just go ahead and skip through the first 10 minutes, too. Yeah. That was so gross.
Oh, my gosh. I'm a DJ. Oh, my gosh.
And then he DJs at the end. That was kind of good. Because he was like an actual, he went back and got the vacuum back from that lady because she couldn't afford it, and he felt bad for her. And, so of course at the end, he's the hero and the other guy's the villain. He gets to fulfill his dream of DJing. Oh my gosh, never made sense.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry for torturing you, Nick.
I didn't know who the guy in the car was. So I skipped like so much, and then when I had skipped that one part, I ended up when he was like sitting in the car and there was that guy in there. He was giving him the mixtape. And then you see him at the party, and I skipped a little bit more, and then I just saw him being the DJ. I'm like, what happened? I'm not going to go back and try to figure out what happened, but I got a little curious. I'm like, how did, this all transition? Oh, wait, I skipped
Wait, the same kid in the car was DJing? I don't remember that. Like, I remember him saying he was a DJ.
Yeah, he was DJing at the party. It was his mixtape.
Oh, that's right. He said, You Know What I'll Do For You.
It was the other guy's mixtape.
Yeah, he played it for them.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Come on, Jordan. I skipped like 80% of the movie, and I even knew that. Come on.
I forgot about that. Well, because I didn't care as much for the kid story, because it was. It was
I don't even know what the kid story was. I skipped it.
It was like tragic and sad and disturbing, like when he hooks up with because his girlfriend just runs out on him, and so he's all sad, and so he hooks up with the big chick. It's like that rebound.
He did hook up with the big chick?
You skipped over that? Yeah,
Yes, I skipped over that. Dude, I skipped over that whole part right when he walked in the house, and she was like, "You like my legs?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm out. Skipping this all right here. This is not happening." Mm-mm.
Yeah, and then the other guy.
No.
They
I skipped it. Don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
I did it for a reason. I knew it was going.
Well, you missed out because he was wearing like a Mexican sombrero and he was like dancing because he thought she was Spanish.
Oh no.
And then you didn't see this part where he was in the car crying and he's like, "What have I done?" Like, because he was feeling so gross. You know, after like you hook up with a really ugly rebound and then afterwards you feel miserable and horrible. Like that was him in the car. He's like, "What have I done?" Like it was.
No, it's never no.
Okay, well.
But if you say so, I guess, yeah. No, I thought he was just crying because he thought he was a horrible person for the whole vacuum thing again. I don't.
No, well,
I was wondering why she was all like in the car when the other guy was telling his story. Why she was all up on him.
And why did you see in the crowd when she had a whip and she was whipping the guy?
Yes, I did see that
like,
part.
Where did she get the whip? And why is she carrying it around her with her?
Well, no, he had it in his car, in his glove box.
Oh, I missed that. How did I miss that? What the heck? You're catching all these little things like...
Because these are the only parts I saw, man. It's not hard to forget when you only like watch 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, he just no remorse. I don't know.
Would you recommend this movie, Jordan?
Okay, only if you are obsessed with Danny Boyle as much as I am, which I can't see many people being that obsessed with him. I can see people loving his films like 127 Hours. That's
Jordan,
so good.
out of the 10 people that are gonna listen to this pod. None of them is gonna like Danny Boyle.
Hey, and I'm not completely to blame on this. I was going to pick a really good movie that I think you would like. However, you're like, well, it needs to be on these streaming services because I don't want to start a new subscription somewhere else. So I looked.
I got enough subscriptions, man. I got
that's
like
what I'm
5
saying. This
already.
was free on Amazon Prime. And
okay, well, you know, we can upgrade a little bit. There's a lot of movies on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Showtime. I got Showtime's, HBO. Come on now.
You have HBO? Oh, okay. There's some stuff on there, yeah.
But why don't you pick, like, Showtime, too, or Stars or something, you know? Like, I get it. You wanted to do this movie. You knew that... I don't know what you were thinking, actually, to be honest with you. You knew I would watch it because you recommended it.
Well, I didn't necessarily know if you were going to like it.
This might have hurt your reputation. I might have to question every movie you recommend from now on.
Well, I knew I
want your mom to watch this movie and see what she thinks.
No.
See where you have gone. I want you to know that I am not responsible for any of this, any of what's going on here. I completely disagree.
Oh my gosh. Oh, my cheeks are hurting, Nick. Oh, yeah, I can't laugh too much.
You know what? I will recommend this movie to my worst enemies. The people I hate. I'm just going to yell at them. Hey, Paradise, Vacuum, Nude. Type that in and it'll pop up. I don't know the full length of it, but watch that, you son of a bee. I'll get him.
Oh, Danny Boyle, you still got it if you're listening to this. I know you're not, but...
Danny Boyle's not listening to this. And Danny Boyle, what the heck? If you are listening to this, you do somehow run into this. I don't know you. I don't know anything about you, but... You were on LSD when you made this, weren't you? You were on drugs. It's okay to admit it.
I mean, he's the guy that made Trainspotting, which is all about drugs, so...
Is Trainspotting good? No, don't answer that, because I don't...
I love it. I say we do all of Danny Boyle's movies.
Danny Boyle, let's say we have a beer, and then we'll just talk it over. I apologize for hating on your movie.
But have you seen 127 Hours? Do you like that one?
So, how early... Is this like Danny Boyle's first movie?
One of his first, yeah.
Like, maybe when he was like in college or something? or like high school.
Let me see. Danny B.
And I only ask because it makes it more likely that he was, in fact, on drugs.
No, he's been making movies for a while. Oh, geez, it was after The Beach. So he had already done Trainspotting and Shallow Grave.
I'm going to assume those are not any better.
So it was right before he did 28 Days Later. So he'd made that in 2002.
Did he make 28 Weeks Later?
And then he made 2000. In 2001, he did Vacuuming Completely Nude. No, he didn't do Weeks.
Okay, that makes sense. Because 28 Weeks was good. 28
No.
Days was not good.
My.
So clearly I am not a fan of Danny Boyle's films because there are now 2 that I know of, neither of which I could finish in its entirety.
Well, I'll show you some of his newest stuff. Like Trance, you would probably like. Because it looks slick and new. Like at the time this came out, digital was just becoming a thing. It was like a big deal. And
I was trying to wonder about the camera quality, if that was like on purpose or if this was possibly like a very low budget movie.
Well, I mean, it is definitely low budget, but it also was shot on like digital, the earliest digital cameras. So like when digital had just become a thing. So like before they were using, you know, old school film reels, and then he was kind of jumping on board the second digital cameras became a thing.
Okay, wow.
So.
Oh man, they should just went back to like classic or whatever. Whatever would have been. When did this movie come out?
2001.
2001? Oh my gosh, there are movies from the 70s that have better, but he should have not used new technology at that time. No, this movie kind of would have been maybe a little better if he would have just did it normal with like, I don't know, any other camera than what he used.
I disagree. I like it. Like, there's moments I'm like, okay, I would have liked a little bit better quality, but at the same time, I just feel it almost fits the film because of how gritty their lives are. The quality of that film kind of matches the lifestyle of all these people. See what I'm saying?
Well, I'll give you this. The terrible quality of just the terrible quality of it, definitely, you don't have high expectations. Like if it would have been like probably good quality, I may have been even more disappointed, in fact, actually, because I would have been like, oh, it's lying to me. It's actually like, seeing this, I knew they were going for, let's make the second worst movie ever made.
Oh my gosh. Of all Danny Boyle's films, yes, it's not my favorite.
Danny Boyle, I don't
But it's not your worst.
Your movie, man. I'm sorry.
No. It's not his
not
worst.
You. I'm not saying sorry. I'm saying sorry to Danny Boyle's movie.
My least favorite is probably A Life Less Ordinary. But I did see and notice that Trumpet, is that what it's called? Strumpet, sorry. I did notice that Strumpet is also on Amazon Prime, so I'll be checking that out. And if it's good enough, we'll review it. If not, we'll pass it. I won't torture you right away. I'll push it off for a while.
Right away. You know, and after all said and done, I have this odd feeling in the pit of my stomach that this isn't going to be the last time I'm going to watch this movie.
No. We're never going to revisit this movie, but we will see it.
Well, not maybe on the pod, but I just have a feeling, years down the road, I'm going to just be like sitting here bored and forget that I watched this terrible thing and then watch it again. Or I'm going to remember and I'm going to be like with a buddy and I'll be like, dude, let's get high and watch this movie because I'm going to take you on a trip, man. No, I'm just, whoa. But hey, I'm trying to think if I ever watched a movie that was worse. And I think...
Well, good. I'm excited because then there's plenty more films I'm sure you won't love that I'll pick. And I do apologize in advance for those. But there's just so much to appreciate. And if anything, Nick, this will help you appreciate other films even more.
So this is good, though. Glad in all that I did watch this because now I could be on the pod on a movie instead of loving it. So it gives me more material to work with, okay? So really this worked out for my benefit. This may be one of my best episodes ever. You gave me gold to work with here.
I love it. Any final thoughts or nitpicks, Nick?
Nitpicks? What time is it? You got a couple hours? Let's just... Next.
I think he accomplished what he was going for.
He accomplished something, that's for sure.
Maybe there's one too many gross moments.
Mm-hmm.
But his style is there, and it's in his early work more than ever, and I love it. That I appreciate.
Real quick, you cut this out if you want, but in the beginning of the movie, it was probably one of the few times I actually wanted like, come on.
Yeah. No, Nick, there's some very disturbing Yeah, it's not like the Wolf of Wall Street, you know, where it's pure ecstasy.
And those chicks were hot, though.
Yeah.
Those chicks were hot. It's okay. And Wolf of Wall Street is not a terrible movie. It's an amazing movie. It's such an amazing movie. Who doesn't love Wolf of Wall Street?
I think it's a similar type of humor, just English humor.
Don't compare this to Wolf of Wall Street. You might get your tongue taken out, man. I swear it. No.
Oh my gosh. Oh jeez. Okay, well, I had a blast watching this movie, and I had a blast talking about it with you, Nick. I
had a blast talking about it.
I appreciate you letting me torture you through it. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
But
You're lucky I had nothing else to do today.
Any final thoughts? We already said we recommend it. So, Nick...
You said you would recommend it.
No, I said I wouldn't. I said only if you're a Danny Boyle fan and you've seen all his other work first.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I missed it. I blanked out.
This is my second to last least favorite, but I still like it. Or maybe even love. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Well...
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to rate it.
Not even a star, Nick? Just 1 star.
I would give it no stars.
Out of no stars.
I want to find out who the people that gave it 2.5 stars on friggin' Amazon. And I had a feeling too, like when I saw the 2.5 stars, I'm like, oh no. But I'm like, you know what? Like I said in previous pods, sometimes I like what other people would consider not to be good movies. But again, all of those are high quality, action-packed, kicking butt, going at it. And if someone wants to give it 3 stars, a movie like that, you know, that's all cool, whatever. They don't know. They're just too artistic. This is something different.
Oh, I'm crying, Nick. Oh.
So what have I watched lately? Nothing. The news. In fact, this was the first movie I've watched in probably 3 or 4 days.
I know. I've been watching a lot of news too, Nick. Holy cow.
Oh, gosh. I had to switch, actually, because I had to switch my Apple TV, or not my Apple TV, I had to switch the TV, actually, back to a different connection so I could get off the news and onto this.
Yeah, this is a nice break, then.
Actually, the whole time I was watching, I'm like, I'm missing the news. Luckily, they just keep replaying the same stuff, so I'll catch it all. I'll be caught up.
Yeah, they do.
Did you see? You did watch the new Batman movie?
I did. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it tonight. Have you seen it?
No, but a lot of people at work said it was really good.
Yeah, everybody seems to like it. I didn't, so...
I hear it's dark.
Yeah, I didn't like it, so...
I don't really know what that means. I get a little bit like, oh, it's
well,
dark.
I mean, based on today's movie, I guess you can assume if I like this and the whole world doesn't, and I didn't like Batman and the whole world likes Batman, then clearly something's wrong with me.
Something might be wrong with you. You didn't like it?
No.
What is it got as reviews?
It's like an 89 or something, 86.
That's actually kind of low for what you would think
no,
of a Batman
Rotten Tomatoes. Well, I mean, that's high for a superhero movie, because some superhero movies get trashed on.
What did Dark Knight Rises get?
Well, I mean, if you're comparing to Dark Knight Rises, those are Christopher Nolan movies. Like, you're comparing oranges and apples here.
I'll probably have to watch it anyway at some point.
Yeah, and I bet you'll like it. It's dark. It kind of reminds me of Seven and Saw.
Really?
Yeah, except you don't get to see any of the guys...
I heard this kind of went a different way. Like, he's more of... Did it go a different way than the normal Batman movies?
Yeah, like the darker tone, like you said. Like, I was hoping they would show the traps, because he set, like, this cool trap on this guy, and then it cut away before you got to see any of it. That's why I got pissed. So I'm like, this is like Saw, but without the violence.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's lame.
But there's some cool fight scenes. I think you'll like that. And it's dark, and it looks okay. It looks amazing. I'll give it that. I gave it 3 stars. 1 for the amazing visuals, and I think that alone will get you hooked.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I like 300.
Well, I do enjoy 300. I less so these days, but I did love it in high school.
Oh my! When it came out, geeking.
Yeah.
Back when I did geek on movies.
But when people said it was amazing, I held off on watching it because I was a hipster, and I'm like, I don't want to like it if everybody else likes it. And then I watched it, and I'm like, oh, this is really, really freaking good.
Jordan was a little hipster, a little bit. He had the hair, a little poof.
The swoosh.
Yeah. The swoosh, yeah, that's right.
And I got the rooster.
Now you got, the swoosh is gone, man. No, it's okay.
I
My
tried
hair
to
is
bring it
pretty
back. It doesn't. My
You
hair.
can't bring that back.
No,
man.
it's too receding. My hair.
You know, it's okay. That's why I wear a hat, because I'm losing it too. So I just keep the hat on. Makes me feel better. I don't care what I'm doing. The only time, I'm going to tell you what, probably the only time I don't wear a hat is in church, if I go. It's not that often, but I don't wear a hat in church. Everywhere else, I'll do meetings, I'll have a hat on. I'll be with freaking CEOs of companies in a meeting with them. I got my hat on. Doesn't matter. I'm swagging with the hat.
Swag, yes.
I got it. I'm the cool guy. I'm the new age, man. And they love me. All the CEOs, VPs, they all love me. So I'm doing something right.
Okay, everybody. Nick says don't watch this. I say don't watch
He also
127
said-
hours and 28 Days Later and Sunshine Before and Trainspotting and Trance and
No,
everything
don't watch
else
like
Danny
movies
Boyle's
that are
done.
probably better and then watch this. You want to go from the down up. I don't think you want to start up and then go all the way down. I feel like the way you rated it is they're getting worse and worse. Like start with the best and go down.
No, because like I said, the only reason I don't think I would have liked this if I hadn't seen all his other films before this and loved every single one of them. Because I was like, I need more of his work. I need more of his movies. And his TV shows don't have as much of his style in them. So
He does TV shows? I'll
he
look this
has-
Danny Boyle up. I'll have to look this up.
I don't. They're none of the shows you've seen. I've watched them. No way in heck. I'll tell you what the shows are.
Okay. There's no way I've seen him.
He did a show called Trust. Did you watch that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A show called Babylon. It's actually an English show, so I doubt it. And then he used to make TV shows going very far back. Inspector Morris, more English shows.
I was born in America.
Hey.
Actually, Netflix was probably my introduction to foreign movies. I didn't watch them before that.
Yeah, and us getting you on some. Which, by the way, we had a listener, Nick. I want me to read really quick what she said. She loved our episode on I Saw the Devil.
Is this person your wife?
No, this is actually just a person.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, it's Jordan's wife in disguise.
She said, wow, amazing pod, guys. Kept me entertained while jogging, listening to y'all. LOL. By the way, I have another recommendation on the pod. It's called A Bittersweet Life. Check it out. Thanks.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, Nick, because it's a foreign film.
Fine.
And
Bittersweet Life, we're doing it.
I mean, but it's a foreign film. Are you sure? It's
I
a
don't
gangster
know.
foreign film.
Ooh, you got my intrigue.
Korean gangster.
We can make it work.
All right.
If it's anything like I Saw the Devil, we'll make
Same
it.
actor, and I think it's
Same
director.
actor? No, I might not dislike this. Hey, you know what? Anything probably is going to be better than what we just did. So,
There's only uphill from here.
yeah, exactly. You know what you mean by hitting rock bottom? This was it. So it's all uphill, baby. It's all good. Can only,
All right.
Can only win from here.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Bye.
Peace.